All right, thank you for listening to the brilliant story by Story Protocol. Next up, we're gonna dive into the metaverse, which of course we all love. And we're gonna learn when Ready Player One becomes a reality. So welcome the panel speakers.
Okay. Je pense qu'il faut que tu aies un micro. Oh, you have one. Awesome. Cool. Hey, everyone. Yeah, nice and cozy, indeed. Thanks for being here with us today. I'm FLAV from the Blockchain Game Alliance. We are a non-profit organization gathering companies into one block, one ecosystem, and our goal is to promote blockchain within the gaming industry. And we're super happy to be here today, but also with our panel and our discussion for today. It's going to be around one book/movie that you obviously know, because it's usually the book/movie that you use when you try to explain what is the metaverse, what is blockchain gaming, what is the open world we want to build in, and you always rely on this book/movie. And I want to say that each time, because for me the book was meaningful, the movie a little bit less, but it won't be, I promise, it won't be a debate about if you like the movie or not, or the book or not, but it could, like we have time for that. But without any further ado, I would love to, obviously, yes, you have this book/movie, and there are a lot of different things to unpack based on what these wonderful guys are building on their side. A lot of inspiration comes from the movie and book. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to tackle about those topics and see where we are right now and where we are in terms of the vision we're sharing all together. So without any further ado, I would love to, starting with you, Ilya, but the others after, to just let you introduce yourself.
Hello.
I think you're good.
It's okay. Hey guys, my name is Ilya. I'm head of marketing at a project called the Motoverse. So it's at Moderateo.com. If you want to find out more, it's part of Animoca Brands family. And actually our vision is very much in line with this topic. So I was very happy to be part of this. And what we essentially, our big vision is to be the interoperability layer for digital vehicles in the open metaverse. So it's a big, future-looking vision. But what we're today is basically probably the largest hub for like racing games, motorsport experiences, and digital vehicles, like digital vehicle assets, fully licensed, essentially digital twins of real cars and bikes in Web3, right? So we basically allow people to, buy, collect, trade, customize, and of course race all these digital vehicles in our games, and potentially other partner experiences. So our background, we have about 10 live racing games, both Web 2 and Web 3, and they were built by 3 of our in-house studios based in Australia, US, and France. So they have over 20 years of combined game dev experience in racing games. Over 100 million downloads and box sales over the history. And we work with leading automotive and motorsport brands and IPs like Honda, Nissan, MotoGP, Formula E, Formula Drifts, and even Formula 1 in the past. But these are basically the building blocks towards that bigger future that I'm happy to share more and kind of discuss how that fits into the big picture.
Hi, my name is Benjamin. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of There Was Entertainment. Happens to also be part of the Animoca Brands family. We got acquired in 2022. We originated as a game development studio that we kind of gave birth to when we were working at Ubisoft with a bunch of my former colleagues. The thing is that over time, our definition of the metaverse has really changed, and we went from building a AAA open world called Life Beyond that we're still developing and that will be launching this year, that we used to define as a metaverse, into our new definition of the metaverse, which is more of a network of destinations, of which Life Beyond is one of them and is probably one of the flagships. But we're really now pushing for the metaverse to happen on Bitcoin, and with the launch of a protocol very soon called Opal, which is a decentralized protocol that we're launching with 20 other companies to really, I would say, actually have a metaverse that is closer to the vision of Neil Stephenson. And so I guess the book that we pick matters, because Ready Player One is very different from what Snow Crash was intuiting back then.
Hi everyone. Hello. Yeah. Hi. So my name is Emanuil. I'm the CEO of ISOPLINK. Basically, we've been in the crypto space for a while with our team. We started out by building a Web3 developer-friendly platform, which helps developers to get into the Web3 space, but in more meaningful way, and connect and educate and learn through our platform using different types of incentives. Later on, we expanded our vision and actually developed a second product, which is related to the metaverse. It's called the ISOPLINK, and it's a blockchain game. It's based on the Sandbox platform, and we decided that there is a missing part basically between all the people within the Web3 space, and there is a discrepancy because in order to onboard Web2 people, developers, technical, non-technical, there is a barrier. And what an interesting solution that would be is actually to create a gamified environment where people are free to have fun, to connect, to visit virtual workshops, to go to hackathons, and be able to be part of a community where they can earn collectibles and be more engaged. Because in reality, more than 80% of the young generation are playing games on a weekly basis. So we thought there is no better way to introduce this type of exposure for them, but this also brings value a lot to all the companies and brands in the tech and the Web3 sector, because they're able to connect and make meaningful relationship, get close to their communities, and yeah. So we have all types of, we've developed all types of experiences ranging from NFT galleries, hackathons, HQs, ability to embed storytelling into your brand, create quests which are helping people to discover more about your products and services. So yeah, this is what we've been trying to do. Yeah, in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. I think with the time we have, I'm going to capitalize on the diversity of these panels and what you're doing on your side, because there are different aspects of what you're doing, and maybe also a different vision and definition about what define the metaverse with the Ready Player One movie book. First will be the question for you, Ilya, because you're building this ecosystem, this world around the different games you have, and you have. I was really intrigued by the vision of the metaverse, but based on what we call the interoperability. Like, what does it mean for you? Because you actually also already apply, and you're going to apply maybe more and more this concept into the gaming experiences that you are developing on your side.
Yeah, absolutely. So we think that actually vehicles, cars and bikes, and they can be other vehicles, obviously flying or seaborne, etc. in the future, but something that people can actually understand and relate to in real life, because cars, essentially, real cars are interoperable in the sense that you can drive them in different cities, different countries, customize them in different ways, make them personal and unique. So that concept, like if feasible in digital space, is very easy for people to understand. So we believe that maybe we can be kind of the trailblazer, in terms of interoperability in the digital space, like using blockchain tech. And so the way we're approaching it is, so we're creating integrated experiences across our games, like a single sign-on. So if you go to Moderateo.com, you can create an account there, and then the idea is that all your records and performance across different games, all history of ownership will be all recorded and tied to your account. So this will evolve across our games, but also external partner games. And then, of course, the NFT part, the NFT layer, is key for making actual vehicles interoperable. And so to make it happen, we don't want to limit only to our games. We want more people to come on board because we see our ecosystem as completely open. Right? So for this reason, we've actually created interoperability standards for digital vehicles that anybody can adopt, and any other project can actually move our cars to their experiences, their environment. So whether it's Wild the World or IconX or any other project or other side, with Bored Apes, so they can potentially get our vehicles in their games if they adopt the standards. On the other side, for the vehicle brands, whether it's mass market brands like Toyota and Honda, or premium luxury cars like Ferrari and Porsche. So by extension, if they adopt our standards, we can bring their cars in our games. And so we want to help actually digitize and tokenize all these vehicle assets and launch them through our hub, so that we can be kind of this launch pad, to bring all the real world brands into Web3. Vehicle brands and motorsport brands. So for instance, Graham earlier today from one of our studios was talking about fractionalizing sponsorship for a top MotoGP racing team. So that's another experience that we can enable through NFTs. But ultimately the idea is to bring all this excitement, all those assets, and all those communities to Web3, but also show to the real world audience what they can do actually with this NFT technology. Because now essentially anybody who has like 100 euros can be a sponsor of a major MotoGP team. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. And so we also realize that it's very hard for gaming projects, open world projects, to license and manage legally all these complexities with big brands and IPs. So we're actually willing and keen to take care of this. And so we'll be managing kind of centralized licensing processes, interoperability standards, and kind of make sure everything runs smoothly, and then enable other partners and projects to actually capitalize on this. And so tying it to the Ready Player One vision, so essentially when we talk about Ready Player One, like when you read that book, and I was rereading it half a year ago, just to make sure I update my sort of like understanding with the current level of technology of how that actually comes together. Essentially what the Ernst Klein was talking about is there was a massively successful MMO game that just started pulling all the other game worlds inside, right? That's how you got all this like ideas about planets that cater to different experiences. So there's education planet, there's like RPG planet, there's like whatever planet, and essentially this is like current game worlds. And so what we want to be is essentially enable the whole like vehicle layer of that world, of that interconnected world in the future, where we basically bring all the stuff that people love about cars and bikes and vehicles in general and like motorsport culture into that world, so that you can buy it in a world like which is the big showroom essentially, and then you can travel from one planet to another, but you don't need to worry about anything like in terms of the costs or operations or bringing those assets into that world, right? So we'll help to kind of power that entire experience.
Do you think it is going to be something interesting for you too as well? But I feel like when a lot of projects want to create and build an open metaverse, open world, they miss the fact that standards are really important. Like you make it open for everyone. And actually what you said, that this is important as a company to make sure that you develop the structure so everyone can develop anything from it.
Yeah, and like I said, we have an open mindset totally. So we want to make sure that everybody benefits from our effort and our resources. And I think Animoca is uniquely positioned to make that happen. And that's, I think, the power of synergies inside Animoca. That is possible only because of their scale and, of course, our expertise in this particular area.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing is that it's happening. We're only one example, but we're talking to the founder of Sneakerheads, and they're actually, like, I realized that we were working on something similar in just different product categories, essentially, right? So they are digitizing sneakers, we're digitizing cars and tokenizing them and making them available to others. So they think about, like, taking, like a rare, sneaker and putting it in a game, like a basketball game, something like that, which is kind of similar to us launching cars and putting them in our games, but also in other teams' games and experience. So it doesn't have to be a game. It can be, a virtual museum, a gallery, a car show, you name it. There's actually, because we're building with the core principles are ownership and interoperability, there's actually a lot more that will be possible later. I think I like one of the talks that Yatsu did, talking about digital property rights and how they enable creativity, across different industries. And he talks specifically about car industry, that it's not just about, racing or collecting, but you can think about
the elements,
there's like a ton of other industries that can be spawned on top of the property layer, right? Because when people start innovating and creating on top of it, you get repair shops like insurance, rentals, auctions. There's just so much potential that I think we haven't even scratched the surface yet. But we're starting with the experiences that people understand, can relate to. So there's, an audience of gamers that love games, passionate about games, audience that loves motorsports, and they're ready to participate in, like, sponsoring their team through fractionalized sponsorship. And of course, the collectors, they just like love the design of specific cars, the history, these motorheads. So we just, we're trying to combine all these audiences, bring them together, and kind of give the momentum to this whole project and kind of take it to another level.
Yeah, and Benjamin, you mentioned that at the beginning. So you, from the game Life Beyond, and now you have a bigger vision about what you mean about all the ecosystem you're building, and this ecosystem should belong to the Bitcoin ecosystem. Why, and what is your vision specifically in terms of infrastructure, but gaming experiences as well?
So obviously, I mean, over the past few 16 months, 18 months, I'd say we've built a very strong conviction around Bitcoin. Of course, everybody knows about Bitcoin, but for most of us, Bitcoin was a storage of value chain, or a chain to transfer value between individuals or companies. But with the birth of ordinals, of the ordinals protocol in January 23, it really opened a whole new range of opportunities for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is by far the biggest ecosystem. It's 3 times bigger than Ethereum. It's $1.3 trillion of liquidity today, but liquidity with close to zero utility other than storing and transferring. And that is really what's changing now, where we can bring everything that is Web3, so from gaming, entertainment, education, e-commerce, you name it, we can bring all of this to Bitcoin. And I think that this connects very well with the idea that the metaverse, if we go back to its original form as it was developed by Neil Stephenson back then, is not a gaming world. The metaverse is more of it's this network of destinations. It's the internet, new version of the internet. So this connection of all of these different destinations that can cover again, a new very big range of services, products, experiences. And when we think about this, it feels like it could be the place where we would experience our digital life. And so if Bitcoin is the digital gold, then ordinals kind of bring the digital Canva for your digital life. So that's why we believe that Bitcoin can be a massive destination or a massive hub of destination for the metaverse. And what is very interesting in what Ilya is saying is that you see that the metaverse today is not, no one is chasing anymore, I think, this idea of it's a 3D world, one 3D world where I experience a bunch of experiences. It's more of a connection, and for you, it's a whole, you have, like you said, 10 games, right? And so this connects very well with also this idea that the fantasy of interoperability, as we saw it, just doesn't exist anymore. It's not just about having one standard of assets, it's also about the willingness of the operators to make it meaningful to use these assets within the different experiences. Because it's not just about the fact that it can run in a different game, but it's also how do I use it? What are the rules? So of course within a game, you know, it's like if I bring a bike in a car racing game, well, it just breaks the whole design unless it's been actively designed by the destination operator. So I think that the metaverse narrative was really hyped, then it completely crashed. It was just a process to, of course, experiment and get a little bit of wisdom. And I really expect that 24 and especially 25 is going to be insane, and we're going to see a massive rebirth of the metaverse. We're going to be less embarrassed with using the word again, because we'll have finally meaningful experiences, meaningful usages with real purposes.
Yeah, we're still thinking with closed door because we have a lot of change protocols, and sometimes we want to open everything with blockchain, but what we see is a lot of fractionalized ecosystem for now, although we want to open everything. But talking about the networking effect, because you all believe in that, for all of you being involved in the blockchain ecosystem, and you said about it for the Animoca Brands ecosystem, and I fully understand that. Let me know if I'm wrong, but being a little bit around the Ethereum ecosystem within Animoca Brands portfolio, how do you think you could fit with that?
It's actually, we're in probably the best position to benefit from this. And you said something, which is that it was very fractionalized. And that is probably the biggest flaw so far, is that we have this idea, this ethos of shared network effect, but at the same time, it's very PvP, and projects are just trying to capture the value as much as they can. And this is why we created Opal, which is a decentralized protocol that belongs to no one and to everyone at the same time, so that we align every project's interest. And so rather than all shooting in every direction, we share some form of utility within a token, and so we have a unified purpose together. And so as Animoca is one of the stakeholders, it is really a massive channel to push all of its portfolio, which is close to 600 companies today, that are, of course, a lot of them are now interested to be able to launch on Bitcoin for the reasons that I introduced. Again, you know, $1.3 trillion of value and such a big ecosystem potentially. So we're now already onboarding a bunch of projects, Pixelinks, Engine Starter, Open Campus, and TinyTap are all members of the Opal protocol. So they're all launching experiences on Bitcoin, or they're facilitating for Bitcoiners to enjoy experiences on their platform.
Got it. Perfect. Emmanuel, would love to have your opinion on that, like having your vision around these ethos we just shared about the metaverse and open world and everything, because I feel like the educative aspect of your project is really strong. Like obviously you want your project to be really involved in this education process for everyone in the digital world. So what is your vision on your side?
Yeah, definitely. So I believe the open world is very important and interoperability, because we need to involve as many people as possible, because usually sometimes actually the Web3 community is a little bit, you know, functioning on its own without considering the needs of the actual people and the end users. So having that in mind, our vision is actually to make this education, upskilling, connecting and playing process really smooth and easy for everyone, and to essentially having this virtual environment which is convenient, like because we're building a Web3 campus on our game, where every person who has a basic internet connection and a phone is able to tune in into this environment and be able to get knowledge from people which are experts in their fields, or have something interesting to share or showcase products by doing live streams, something which might be possible really soon. I think this is a really unique opportunity, because at the end of the day, the way we teach and learn new things is evolving, and especially for the new people, for the new generation, the young generation. The methodologies that were effective before are not effective now. So the attention span is really like much lower. So in order to make this interesting and at the same time functional educational process, I think having game being involved as an avatar, being able to collect certificate in the form of NFT, or demonstrate your knowledge in a specific field, is being possible in such gamified environment, which is the metaverse. So I think this opens the door for a lot of opportunities, not only for students, but also for practitioners, for people who want to get more efficient type of education, and at the same time make it in a fun and meaningful way.
Awesome. As a last question, I think based on the time we have, there is something about, this topic wasn't easy for me to tackle about this topic, because the book and the movie, it's based on the story of someone who's living in a very catastrophic world, like economically, ecologically, environmentally, and everything. But he tried to escape. Everyone is trying to escape within the digital world. So obviously, I don't think we have this vision right now, and I don't feel like blockchain is an escape to my real life. And we'd love to have your opinion on that, based on the project you're launching, how what you're doing is actually enhancing the physical life of everyone here. Starting with you, Ilya, if you want to.
That's a loaded question. I think we actually have a real link to real life, unlike a lot of other projects. Both, right? So Graham was talking about kind of constructed utility in virtual space, right, and real life utility. So we actually have both through our games, but also through the real world partnerships. And we have, MotoGP is a really good example, right? So we basically help democratize, essentially, sponsorships for, actual real-world racing teams. So you can also scale this idea to, other IPs like F1 or whatever else, football, whatever you can think of, fractionalized ownership of cars and bikes, and so you can take it, as far as you can. So I think that is pretty exciting. That's a positive. Then also what makes me really excited is that things are actually starting to happen. So we're actually preparing to make a big announcement quite soon about a first interoperable car that is actually a real world car from one of the top automotive brands, which will be, for the first time, interoperable in 4 different experiences. So 2 of our games, also on our hub, so Moderateo.com, and in their virtual world that they're building, their platform. That is kind of like a Fortnite island, essentially. So this makes me super bullish and excited about where this industry is going and what's going to be possible in the future. And I believe that the dystopian world was done for the drama effect more than anything. And that kind of reality can accelerate the adoption, like we saw with pandemic and COVID and all of that. But I think longer term, I'm actually quite positive.
Awesome. Ben.
So, I think we know for sure today that and there are so many studies, especially for Gen Z, that they feel closer to the online friends than the physical ones, because of course they pick their online community based on common interest. And if I combine this data with the fact that NFTs are a storage of culture, and what are the most successful NFT collections? They are PFPs, right? And so they are PFPs which connect to identity. And today we see that, and it was actually even brought up during a previous panel. A lot of these communities meet IRL all the time. Whether it's like with the OMB community, we have an OMB dinner here tomorrow night. So every successful NFT PFP community, they have their own event where people meet. So I think we have already proven over the past few years that there is a very strong connection, and that it has enhanced your physical life, social life, because you ended up expanding your network of friends with the people that are part of the same NFT community.
Sure. With you, Emanuil, to finish with.
Yeah, to wrap things up, I think it's very important to be able to grasp the concept, especially for users that are entering in the Web3 and the Web2 space, that building a recognizable brand that resonates with the community and being able to share your values, your vision, the products you are offering, and being able to be in touch with your community is super important. And that's one of the aspects where the NFTs help a lot. And not only they verify the authenticity and the trustworthiness of that, but also it builds like a really common goal for each project and the things that they are aiming to achieve.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys, for everything. Definitely, hopefully we're going to have another better movie than the one we got from Steven Spielberg. But anyway, I think your insight was actually more valuable. So thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.